All right, so we're diving deep into journaling today. You sent in some super interesting articles about it, and I'm like really curious to explore all this with you. It feels like you're ready to, kind of unlock all the cool stuff about journaling. So, yeah, let's get right into it.
Absolutely. It's pretty amazing, honestly, how just writing things down can have such a big impact on how you feel, how creative you are, and just, well,
I
everything.
know, right? I used to think journaling was like super basic. Just write down your thoughts and feelings, done. But these articles suggest there's so much more to it, so many cool techniques and like actual benefits.
There really is. You can think of journaling as this journey where you discover more about yourself, process emotions, even get those creative sparks flying.
Okay, now you've got me hooked.
Hmm.
So where do we even start with this whole journey? One article mentioned the history of journaling, and get this, it goes way back to ancient Mesopotamia.
I know, right? Those ancient scribes were definitely onto something. They might have used clay tablets instead of fancy notebooks, but it's still the same basic idea, capturing thoughts and experiences, making a real record of what's going on inside. And it's not just ancient history either. Think about Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci, wow, okay.
Yeah, his notebooks were packed with sketches, inventions, and his own personal thoughts.
So journaling has been helping creative people for ages, but let's get practical here. The articles also mentioned a bunch of like scientifically proven benefits. Less stress, feeling happier, even a stronger immune system. I mean, how does just writing stuff down do all that?
Well, it seems like a big part of it is how it helps you process emotions.
Hmm.
There's this researcher, James Pennebaker, who did some really groundbreaking work on what he calls expressive writing.
Expressive writing.
Yeah, so he found that if people write about tough or stressful things for just 15-20 minutes each day, it actually helps them deal with those feelings in a healthier way.
So instead of keeping it all bottled up inside, you're putting it out there on paper.
Exactly. And that can lead to some pretty awesome changes. Pennebaker's research even showed that expressive writing can, seriously boost your immune system.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Seems like by processing those emotions instead of ignoring them, we lower those stress hormones that can mess with our physical health.
Wow, I never realized there was such a strong connection between your mind and body when it comes to journaling.
It's pretty wild. And the benefits aren't just emotional. Journaling has also been shown to improve memory and, how well your brain works overall. It's like when you write, it helps organize your thoughts and strengthens those connections in your brain.
So it's like a mental workout too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get why you called it a journey of self-discovery. But there's so many different ways to go about it, right?
Yeah.
These articles mention bullet journaling, gratitude journaling, dream journaling. It's like a lot. Where do you even begin?
You're totally right. There are so many paths you could take. But I think that's part of what makes journaling so cool. You can play around with different techniques and see what clicks best for you. It's all about customizing it to fit your own needs and what you want to get out of it.
So, okay, let's break down some of these different techniques. You mentioned bullet journaling earlier. What's the deal with that?
So bullet journaling, it's all about getting organized, being productive. Basically, it's this system where you use bullet points and little symbols and different ways of laying out the page to keep track of everything, like tasks, habits, events, anything you need to get a handle on in your life.
So less about, digging deep emotionally and more about actually getting stuff done.
Exactly. It's a really good way to clear out all that mental clutter and take control of that never-ending to-do list. Imagine having a super clear view of all your goals, your projects, those daily tasks, all laid out in a way that's both, well, visually appealing and super functional.
Okay, I can definitely get behind that. What about gratitude journaling? Heard that can really lift your spirits.
Oh, absolutely. Gratitude journaling really focuses on shifting your attention to all the good things in your life. Just the simple act of writing down things you're grateful for, even the little things, can have a huge impact on how you feel overall.
So it's like training your brain to see the positives instead of getting stuck on the negatives.
Exactly. And there's actual research that shows practicing gratitude can make you happier, reduce stress, even help you sleep better. It's like a daily dose of positivity for your mind.
Okay, count me in. Now, dream journaling. This one sounds a bit more mysterious, right? What's that all about?
Dream journaling is all about tapping into that subconscious part of your mind. So the idea is you keep a notebook by your bed, and first thing when you wake up, you jot down everything you can remember about your dreams.
Hmm. I'm not sure I remember my dreams that clearly, but I guess the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Exactly. It definitely takes practice, but over time, you might start to see recurring themes, symbols, or emotions that pop up in your dreams. It can be a really fascinating way to gain insights into that inner world and maybe uncover some hidden desires or fears.
So it's like a window into your subconscious. That's pretty cool. But with all these different techniques, I can see how journaling could easily become just another chore on your to-do list. How do you keep it fun and make sure it doesn't feel like, ugh, work?
That's such a good point. Journaling should be something you enjoy, not another thing that stresses you out. One way to keep it fun is to play around with different writing styles and prompts. Maybe one day you try free writing, just letting your thoughts flow onto the page without judging yourself or editing.
Right.
Or try writing from a different perspective, like what if you were your pet or even an inanimate object?
Ooh, I love those ideas. Sounds like a great way to get those creative juices flowing and break out of any writing ruts.
Exactly. And remember, there are no rules with journaling, right? You can write in long paragraphs, use bullet points, draw pictures, even glue in photos or little mementos, whatever. It's all about finding what feels right and meaningful for you.
Speaking of, like, keeping it real, what about sharing your journal with others? Is that something you'd recommend?
Hmm. That's a super personal choice, and I think it's important to be really careful with it. Your journal is this very private space, a safe place for your thoughts and feelings. So if you do decide to share any part of it with someone, make sure it's someone you trust, like really trust, and who will respect how vulnerable you're being.
Right, it's about finding that balance between, expressing yourself and protecting your privacy. So let's say you've been journaling for a while. You've got notebooks filled with thoughts, dreams, experiences. What happens then? Do you just tuck them away on a shelf? Or is there something more you can do with them?
Oh, that's such a great question. And it's something I think a lot of people who journal kind of struggle with. For some, their journals are like super private documents, a record of their personal journey for their eyes only. But then others might feel inspired to share their experiences with a wider audience, maybe by turning their journals into a blog, a memoir, or even like a collection of poems or short stories.
Wow, turning your journal into a published work, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I imagine it takes a lot of guts to put your inner world out there for everyone to see.
Oh, definitely. It takes a lot of self-reflection, being vulnerable, and of course, careful editing and revising. But it can also be incredibly rewarding, both personally and creatively. Imagine the impact you could have by sharing your story and connecting with others who might relate to what you've gone through.
I can see how that could be really fulfilling. It's like taking that journey of self-discovery and expanding it outwards to connect with, well, everyone. But what about the more practical side of things? I mean, where do you even start if you want to, turn your journal into something you could actually publish?
Well, I think the first step is figuring out what the core of your story is. What are the big themes, the events, the insights that you feel really drawn to share? Once you have a clearer idea of what you want to say, then you can start organizing your journal entries and shaping them into like a coherent narrative. And don't worry, there are tons of resources out there to help you along the way, from writing workshops to online courses to professional
So
editors.
it's like you're taking those raw materials from your journal and crafting them into a story that will really resonate with people.
Exactly. It's about finding those universal truths within your own personal experiences and then expressing them in a way that will grab your readers and move them. And remember, even if you don't end up publishing your work, the process of revisiting those journals and shaping them into a narrative can be a powerful form of self-reflection and personal growth.
That's a great point. It's about honoring your own story, whether it ends up on a bookshelf or not. Speaking of honoring your story, these articles also talked about sustainability, like how to make your journaling eco-friendly. I'm kind of curious to hear more about that.
Oh, absolutely. In this day and age, it's more important than ever to think about our impact on the environment. And, well, that includes how we journal, right? Luckily, there are so many eco-friendly options available. You can choose journals made from recycled paper, use refillable pens, or even try those digital journaling apps to cut down on paper waste altogether.
I love that. And hey, maybe even incorporate some natural elements into your physical journals, like using pressed flowers or leaves as bookmarks.
Ooh, what a great idea. It's all about being creative and finding those little ways to connect with nature while being mindful of taking care of the planet.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. I'm seriously feeling inspired to, step up my journaling game, both in terms of self-reflection and being eco-conscious. But before we wrap up, there's one thing I'm still wondering about. We've mostly talked about journaling as a solo thing, but what about like group journaling or writing circles? Have you ever tried those?
That's a really interesting question, and it's definitely something worth exploring. While a lot of people see journaling as personal and private, there's also this growing trend towards sharing those journaling experiences. Writing circles, for example, can provide this really safe and supportive space to share your writing with others, get feedback, and connect with people who get it.
That sounds like such an enriching experience. It's like taking that journey of self-discovery and making it a group activity, creating this sense of community and sharing that creative energy.
Exactly. And there are so many different ways to do group journaling. Some groups might focus on specific themes or prompts, while others are more like just come in and free write, share whatever's on your mind. It's
Yeah.
all about finding a group that feels right for you and what you're comfortable with.
I love that. It's like having your own like built-in support system for your journaling journey.
It really is. And remember, whether you go solo or join a group, the most important thing is to create a practice that feels genuine and meaningful and, well, fun.
I gotta say, this whole idea of group journaling, it's really intriguing. Like it feels like it could add a whole other layer to the whole experience?
Oh, for sure. Bringing in that shared experience, reflecting together, it can be super powerful.
As we've been talking about all these different techniques and everything, it's hit me that journaling is so much more than just like putting pen to paper. It's a journey, it's creative, it's a way to discover yourself and even connect with others and, well, the world around us. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. I love that. You're so right. It's got all these different sides to it, endless possibilities.
One thing that really stuck with me was that idea of connecting with nature through journaling, like finding a quiet spot outdoors, letting everything around you inspire what you write.
That's a fantastic way to boost both your journaling and your connection to nature. Actually, several of the articles talked about how beneficial it can be to combine journaling with those nature walks.
Yeah, there's something about being in nature that just like grounds you, inspires you, feels like the perfect place to reflect, process things, and get those creative juices flowing.
Absolutely. And you can even use specific nature-inspired prompts for your journaling. Imagine sitting by a river and writing about how the water moves, or watching a bird build its nest and thinking about patience and perseverance.
Those are great examples. It's about like using all your senses and finding that deeper meaning in those everyday wonders of nature. I bet that could lead to some pretty amazing insights.
Exactly. It's about tuning into those natural rhythms and letting them guide your writing. And it doesn't have to be these grand landscapes or far off places. Even a little park or just your own backyard can be super inspiring.
That's good to know. Makes nature journaling feel way more doable. I'm already picturing myself, journal in hand, hiking on a trail, letting all that natural beauty fuel my thoughts.
You should definitely try it. It can be a really transformative experience.
This whole deep dive has been such an eye-opener. We've covered so much. The history of journaling, the science behind it, all those different techniques, and of course being eco-friendly and connecting with others through journaling. I feel like I have this whole new appreciation for it?
It's been fantastic exploring all this with you. Hopefully, you're feeling inspired to start your own journaling journey and see how it can make your life richer.
Definitely am. Any last bits of wisdom for those of us who are ready to grab our pens and notebooks and, well, get started?
Just remember, there's no one right way to journal. Experiment, be kind to yourself, and most importantly, have fun. Let that journal be your true self, a place where you can explore your thoughts and feelings without holding back. A tool for growth, creativity, connection, all that good stuff.
Beautifully said. Thanks so much for joining me on this amazing deep dive into the world of journaling. I can't wait to see where this journey takes me, and I hope all of you listening will discover the power of journaling for yourselves. Until next time, happy writing.